With all of the talk concerning what is happening with Caitliin Clark in the WNBA, and of how she is being harassed both on the court and off, I find myself wondering why it is that everyone is only talking about the problem and not the solution. It's frustrating listening to the never ending arguments both sides continually put out to the public when the solution to the problem is actually simple. However, as is the usual, the common practice in this woke society is to make everything about racial, feminine, and gay politics. You have no idea how much I miss the days when everything was only about what it actually was about. Those days when truth and fact decided the reality of a situation. So, with that said, I want to talk about what the truth and fact is about why Caitliin Clark is having to face such abuse from many opposing WNBA players. And look, I want to make clear before I do that I don't discount the absolute immature response of those players who seemingly are offended because they claim that Caitliin Clark gets more attention than they ever got simply because she's a white woman. I also don't discount the immature response of bruised egos because after 25 years of trying, they couldn't get anyone to take their league seriously enough to attend. And then in comes Caitliin Clark, who has accomplished what they never could just by her entering the WNBA. And I could go on and on about the pettiness and how many of these women are acting, and of how poorly it reflects upon them, whereby through the ongoing demonstration of their immaturity, they only deepen the reasons why many just don't take them seriously as so called professionals. But this isn't the focus of this video. The focus of this video is to bring to light the real issue as to why Caitliin Clark is continually getting targeted and abused on the court. And that one and only reason is because of the Fever players. That's right, I said it. The truth is that the Fever should be embarrassed to call themselves a team. Let's take yet another look at this Kennedy Carter foul on Caitliin Clark.
And Clark. I mean, that's
Clearly, you can see that the ball wasn't in play, and Kennedy Carter just decided to assault Caitliin Clark because she was mad at her. Anger and misconduct has been a part of Kennedy Carter's basketball history, so it's not surprising that she did this. So as you can see with her history here, she's 25 years old, gave herself the nickname Hollywood, which is typical when people try to embellish their value and their worth. She declared for the WNBA draft early in 2020 and was picked fourth in the first round by Atlanta. Then in 2021, she got terminated from Atlanta after threatening to beat up her own teammates. And so she was let go for conduct detrimental to the team. Then in 2022, the LA Sparks picked her up and waived her mid-season for quote unquote poor conduct. Then in 2023, she played abroad in Turkey. And in 2024, this year, she signed with the Chicago Sky, wherein she then assaults Caitliin Clark in their seventh game. So clearly you can see that this was not an isolated incident for her. Now let's be fair and truthful about this situation. Many people out there have been claiming that Caitliin Clark talks crap to opposing players during games, which she does, and Kennedy Carter got fed up with the trash talk and responded by blindsiding her with a completely uncalled for hit that knocked Caitliin to the ground. Well, as a professional, how is it that you don't seem to understand that trash talking is a part of this sport? More than that, why is it that when you clearly trash talk during games, it's completely acceptable? It's just unfair when Caitliin Clark does it, right? But what I want you to notice in this video is that when Caitliin Clark is knocked to the ground, Kennedy Carter just calmly walks away unchallenged. Aliyah Boston, Caitliin Clark's teammate who was standing there and saw the foul committed, calmly walked over to help Caitliin up. No player from the Fever is seen fighting for their teammate who was just knocked to the ground, even though it was purposely committed to attack Caitliin Clark. Well, let's see how the men in the NBA handle it when someone assaults their teammate in the sport.
he took it away, and he's held up by Kevin Love. But see, this is what happens. This is what happens. This is Jimmy Butler and Najee. Yeah, I'm not surprised because they let it go. Right, this is what happens when officials don't call fouls. They let it go. Right, this is what happens. Day and Thomas Bryant are right in front of us. Right, and then that's when it kind of spilled over there. And it was right in front of us. Oh my God.
So as you can see, two things here are important to take note of. First, the announcer says that this is what happens when the refs don't call it. In other words, if a teammate is purposely hard fouled and the ref won't do anything about it to protect the player being fouled, then the team will. Secondly, you see the entire team involved with fighting for their teammate. Not a single person allowed the other team to think that they could abuse their teammate and get away with it. That's how a team makes sure that other teams know that they better not abuse their teammate. When we look at this video with Caitliin Clark and Caitliin Carter, where are the Fever players who stormed the court to protect and defend their teammate? I think it's pathetic that these women even call themselves a team. What I believe that Caitliin Clark has too much class to say is that more than the abuse from the other teams, she has to deal with the understanding that her own team probably are just as against her and her popularity as the others are. And what is sad about it is that if the Fever were a team who would jump up to support their teammate like the men do, they would fire up their fan base beyond belief and gain so much more support from them. It's just another epic failure on the part of Coach Christy Sides for not instilling this mentality within the team, and the GM who doesn't hold the coach and team accountable to stand up for one another. How smart does a professional organization have to be to realize that when you have a nationally loved player like Caitliin Clark being abused by other teams, if your team would stand up and fight back for her, you would only electrify and exponentially grow your team's support and fan base. But this is the WNBA. Why in the world would anybody think that wisdom and maturity would rule the day? Let's listen to a clip from Melanie King, a huge YouTube personality that I personally enjoy immensely, as she comments on ESPN's Stephen A. Smith's discussion on how the women of the WNBA need to realize the benefit of having Caitliin Clark's popularity in the league.
Ryan Clark got a new deal. Nobody's happier than me. Troy Aikman got a deal. Joe Buck got a deal. Kirk Hershey got a deal. Tom Brady got a deal. Tony Romo got his deal. Because they're setting the market. Why do you think I've had the smile on my face all of these months?
Because this is the thing, you don't understand female nature. Female nature is constantly, females we don't work well in teams. Women have to be the number one. You know, if you even watch, my good friend Kevin Samuels would talk about, if you watch it, I think it was Bear Grylls or Bear's Island, one of the Survivor. When the women had to work together, it was like, well, no, my idea. And men just started delegating tasks and working together. There's a natural camaraderie around men. There's a natural teamwork mentality around men. This is why they get things done. This is why men build the world, why they build infrastructure, why they work on the things to build society. Okay? They are able to work together even if they hate each other. For some reason, women are petty, bitter, jealous, catty, nasty to one another. You cannot have another girl be the it girl and outshine you. Women don't work that way for the most part. Is it all women? No, but it is in female nature inherently in the psychology of women to want to outdo the next female. They cannot stand another female who's a leader, even though they say it's men that hate women. It's men that keep women back. Women work together. Women always do. What? Have you ever had a female boss? It's one of the worst things ever. The cliques that form at work. Who is it? It's not men forming cliques. It's women. The cattiness, the catty shows, the reality shows, all of that fighting. Who is it? Women. Why? And then what do women want to watch? Other women fighting each other.
And there it is. The problem with the WNBA. Everything that this league has promoted of itself has been in this mindset that Melanie King just described, which is why they've never been able to be successful, even with women. If, however, this Fever GM and coach were more about actually developing a team that would be faithfully supported by the fans, then when this uncalled for foul on Caitliin Clark occurred, if their team would have been required to respond accordingly to protect their teammate, their fans would have gone ballistic. And they would have not only deepened the support from their current fan base, they would have gained more fans on the national level. In all of men's sports, there exists a code that, regardless of personal feelings you may have towards a teammate, you are expected to defend your teammate. If you have to, you fight to protect each other, and you don't want to be the one person on the team who doesn't. This demonstrated commitment to each other only increases the depth of the team and the loyalty of the fans. This lack of team support from the Fever shows the true nature of the team and what their problem is. Even though Aaliyah Boston went to help Caitliin Clark get up, if this was the NBA, she would have immediately got into Chennedy Carter's face, chest to chest, screaming at her to try that with her. By what we regularly see in how the players excessively turn over the ball and miss easy shots and layups, it's no wonder that this team loses so much. However, if they were to be a hyped up team, a team that supported and fought for each other, they would probably be more cohesive in their gameplay and actually win more often. But again, in closing, what else can I say but it's the WNBA? Why would working for the benefit of the team be more important than a person's individual feelings about what they want or feel that they deserve for themselves? So feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments and be sure to punch that like button if you agree. Also, thank you very much if you already have, but if you haven't, would you hit that subscribe button, as that would be a great help to me. And I can't tell you just how much I would appreciate your support. Hey, as always, I'd just like to say God bless you, and thanks for taking the time to listen. Until next time,